Okay, welcome once again to Isoft Original. Um, let's say Isoft developers, yes. And couple of some days ago, we learned on how to build school management software. Very good system. And where we left off the other time was the print section, and that was awesome. It was very interesting. That was very interesting. Now today we're going to start with the coding, right? We're going to start with the coding. So we're going to start with the loading screen. I just closed all my window, then I started from the loading screen, right, which is the main form one. That is this. Good. So with this loading screen, I told you from the beginning that we have some tools which are hidden tools, and then we have visible tools. All these labels and picture boxes are visible tools, but we have some hidden tools, which is a timer. We have something like a timer, so we have to add a timer, and we will set this timer enabled to true, right? So that is it. We set the enabled to true, then we just save your project, you set it to true. Now let's double click on this timer, right? Now we're going to add some codes here. I want you to take good note of these codes very well. It is very important. Now you see that we have public class form 1. The form 1 is the name of the form, right? That is the form 1. Now we have opened a public class, so we need to end with a class. So whatever code we will be adding to this project will be contained in the class. So this class, when you close it, it contains the subclass of everything, right? So this private sub timer tick, which is for this timer control, that code is being placed in the middle of the public class. So anytime, you don't have to take off the end class, otherwise it will throw an error, you see. So you need to add end class. Okay, so within this class we have this private sub. So this is a public sub, public class, and then we have private sub here. So inside this timer, we are going to say that our progress bar, you see that we added progress bar, one progress bar. So we just say that progress bar 1 dot increment should be 1. We will just say that it should be 1. We are increasing the progress bar by 1 anytime the time ticks. Now let's go back to our project settings and let's set the startup form to form 1, which is our loading form. Is very important. Now when I click on start, you will see that it will load up for me, but you will see that my progress bar will be loading, as you can see now. So my progress bar is loading, and you can see that it's done. Good. So this code is working perfectly fine. So what I will say to this code is this code moves the progress bar, right? So I'd like to okay, so this code moves the progress bar. Now I think this progress bar is quite good enough. Okay, now let's come here. After the progress bar is being completed, we should say something. So we're going to use something called if statement. So we will say that if our progress bar 1 dot value reaches to 100, then something should happen. What should happen first is we will say that our frm login dot show, right? Then we will say that me dot hide. So the frm login will show, then this form will hide itself. So let's try that. Let's try it up and see. As soon as it reaches to 100, we will see a lot of errors. Let's see that error. You will see that there will be a lot of errors here. You see, the timer is still working. So when I close this, you see that it will still be loading, right? So let's solve that. Now, after we show the form load, the login form, we will say that our timer 1 should stop, right? When the timer 1 stops, that's all. So now we can now load the system. We can now wait for it to load, and it is going to work absolutely perfect, right? So that is it. It has now loaded everything perfectly fine for us. So now I can click on close. Now I don't have it being repeating anymore. So we are done with this code. Now let's close this guy. Let's go to the let's close this guy as well. Now let's double click on the login form. Now here, the login, we have to do some little bit of changes. This text box, we have a name for that. We see we have differences here. We have text, and then when you come here, we have name. The name is the name for the text box, right? So I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call this txt username, right? And then this is going to be txt password, right? And then this is gonna be our checkbox. So chk stand for checkbox. So chk hide or show, right? Then we will only work with a label 5. So this label 5, we say LBL for label attempts, right? And this link label is going to be called LLBL, which stands for link label FPSD, which is forgot password, right? And this button 1 is going to be BTN, stands for button log in. And then this cancel button is going to be BTN cancel. Good. So after this, we are done. Now, first thing first, let's go to our project, school management software, and let's go to settings. We need to do some settings. Now, this is going to be our username, right? Username. This is going to be our password, and this is going to be our password hint. So password underscore hint. Now for the username, I'll just say that admin, right? And for the password, I'll just say admin. And for the password hint, I will say that admin hint, right? Let's say admin. Then I think we are good to go with this. So we have the username, the password, and then the password hint, all admin. Good. So now let's come to this form. First of all, let's switch from form 1 to the login form so that we won't be going back again. So what we're going to tell this system, we're going to do some restrictions here, right? So let's double click it. Now we're going to tell the system that if the person didn't type anything inside the text box, which is the username and password, it should prompt an error. So we will say that if txt username dot text equals to nothing, you can add 2 inverted commas, and txt password dot text equals to nothing, then something should happen, right? So then it should send a message box, right? So the message box should tell the person that no username or password found, and we would like to give out a message box which is giving out a style like critical, and we will give a heading to that calling it error, right? So let me put it down so that you see everything good. Error. Else, if our, so let's do some quick checkup here. Let's see how it works. Now when I didn't type anything here and then I click on login, you see that it says error, no username or password found. So I need to add something there. So after that we will say that our txt username.focus, so it's just gonna focus on the txt username for us to add up. So we will say that else if the person didn't type anything inside the username, then we have to copy this message box and paste it here. And the same error, we're just gonna say no username found. Then we just have to say txt username dot focus, right? That means the person didn't type anything inside the username. Then we're gonna say that else if our txt password dot text equals to nothing, right? Then we paste the same error what we copied. Now we will say that no password found. Then after that we will say that txt password dot focus, so it's just gonna focus on the password. So let's do a quick review on that and let's see how it works. So you see no username or password found. When I type something in the username, no password found. When I type something in the password but I didn't type anything in the username, no username found. So the security checkpoint is secured. Now what if I didn't type the correct thing in here? So you see that nothing happens, right? So first of all, let's work with the correct one. So we just say else if the person typed the correct thing. So we say that if our txt username dot text equals to mine.settings.username, which is the username we did inside our our settings, what we added inside our settings here, which is the username. If the person typed the admin there, and our txt password.text equals to mine.settings.password, then only then we will say that it should display a message box telling the person that logged in successfully, and the message box style we would like to use information. Then we will say that success, just like that for the heading. Now let's test it out and see. If we type admin and admin here, now you see that login successfully. We have been able to give the correct details to that. Now what if the person so after that we will say that frm home.show me.hide, right? So after the correct details, right, after the correct details, the main form will show and this system will hide, right? So we will say that admin, then just click on login successful. Now we can now add our details, and without that we can't enter into the system to do anything, right? You can't enter into the system to do anything. All right, so now let's say if the person didn't type the correct password, then we have to enter the same message box what I copied. Then we should prompt up else, we should prompt up an error. So instead of no, we will say that invalid username or password found. Now here I want you to take good note of this. This code, we will be adding additional code to this, right? So when it says this, we will say that txt username.clear because you didn't type in the correct one, password.clear because you didn't type in the correct one. Then we focus on the txt username. So that is awesome. Now let's see this system here. You see, let's code this forget password. So this forget password, we say that frm recovery.show me.hide, right? So that will bring the recovery up and then it will hide itself. Now let's see the attempt. This is lbl attempt 1, right? So let's go back to the login. So when the person gets it wrong, we will say that lbl attempts.text, right, equals to value. Val stands for value. We want to give a value to the label. So lbl attempts.text -1. So what it does is when we get the wrong answer, it will deduct by 1. So let's see. Wow, sorry for the noise because I am in a closed environment. Sorry for the noise. So I didn't type the correct thing. It will just prompt me a message, invalid username or password found. Then it will clear everything. You see that it's now 4. Then let's see, it's now 3, it's now 2, it's now 1, now it's now 0. So let's give some restrictions to this. So we will say that else, no, we won't be using else statement. Let's say if our lbl.text equals to number 3, when it reaches to 3, then we will have to add up a message box, right, telling the person that attention, you have only 3 attempts remaining left, right? Then we will say that this is attention. Good. So these are the codes. So after that, we will just turn the label, which is lbl attempts dot for color should be color dot red, which will represent red, right? So let's see something. When it reaches to, when we get 3 attempts fail and it reaches to 3, now you see attention, only 3 attempts left. Now it turns up to red. So we want it to turn up to red before the message box. So cut it and then let's put it here. That is it. So yeah, so let's add another else statement. Else, if our lbl attempt.text reaches to 0, right, when it reaches to 0, then we should copy this attention and paste it here, and we say that attention, all attempt wasted. Then we say that contact your administrator for assistance, right? Then we say that attention. After that, we will say that we will add another message box. Then we will say that closing, that will be closing message. yeah, let's say closing. Then for the message for that, we will say that application will now exit. So after the 0 attempt, the application is going to exit by itself. So we will then say that application.exit, right? So it will just exit by itself. So let's test it out and let's see how best it works. So we have wrong details here. Okay, 1 attempt, 2 attempts. So we have, attention, you have only 3 attempts left. Okay, so we have 2, we have 1, we have 0. So it says, attention, all attempts wasted, contact your administrator for assistance. Okay, application will now exit. Now the software will now close. So our system, our security system, which we said we talked about in our presentation, is very secured, is very interesting, and is working perfectly fine. Now we have successfully done that, but let's see one more thing. Let's see this. When I type something here, then I click on this, you see it is, the password is not showing, right? So let's code that. Let's give the code to that. Let's go back to the main form, click on this, double click on that, right? So here, if we will say that if our chk hide or show dot checked equals to true, then we will then say that txt password dot password char equals to nothing, else our txt password dot password char equals to our star sign, right? So what I'm trying to say here is, if our checkbox, which is that checkbox, is being checked, then our txt password char should be nothing, else if it's not checked, our password char should be something. So let's try it out and see how best it works, and let's see if this system is working entirely perfect. So we type something here, now you can see that it's working. That is awesome, that is awesome. I see our recovery system. So our recovery system, check for validation, you see, we close and everything is gonna be so that is all for the login. So let's go to the recovery, right? So we are going to the recovery system. So for the recovery, let's go to view codes, then let's go to form load event, recovery event, then let's go to closed. When it's closed, we will say that frm login dot show, right? So it's just gonna show the login whenever it's closed, right? So when we go to this section, we close, it's gonna it's gonna work magically, right? It's gonna work magically. Excellent. So let's go to the recovery. I think the login we are done, so let's go to the recovery and let's start the recovery system. Now this also, let's give the name and let's call this guy, we're gonna call this txt recover txt recover, and this is gonna be btn validate, right? And this is gonna be our lbl username, and then this is gonna be our lbl password, right? Oh, sorry, lbl password. So with this I'll just clear the test now. I don't need any test, and this too I don't need any test because I have already gotten what I need. Yes, so with this close button, we will just say me.hide frm login.show, right? So that is it. So let's go back here and let's double click on the validate. Now what we're going to say is we're going to use if statement. So we're going to say that if txt recover.text equals to my.settings.validate. Okay, let's say if txt.text equals to nothing, let's do that restriction. Then msg box should pop up telling the person that please enter your recovery detail to continue to recover account, right? Then we will use msg box style. For this we will use information, right? Then we will say that attention, right? You need an attention for that. So we will say that else if txt recover.text is the same thing in my.settings.recover, right? Password hint, right? Sorry for that. In fact, I'm really having a little bit of problem viewing. I don't know. Then if the person get it right, then we will say that msg box should pop up a message telling us that let's say password hint validation accepted. Then we're gonna use msg box style dot information. Then we're gonna say that validated, right? Then after that we're gonna say that lbl username.text equals to my.settings.username and lbl password.text equals to my.settings.password, right? If only the person remembers the password hint, right? Then we will say that else if the person didn't give the correct details, we will just pop up a message error telling the person that invalid password hint provided. Good. Then we say that maybe please try again. So after that we will say that our txt.clear, our txt receiver.focus, we have to focus on everything so that we will get everything working right here. Oh, sorry for that. I think okay, so let's do that quickly and let's see. So we go to the recovery. We didn't type anything. Please enter your recovery details to recover account. Okay, please enter your attention. So I think this we need to use instead of using information, let's use critical. Yeah, I think critical is quite interesting. Excellent. So what if we type any wrong details? Invalid password hint provide, please. Okay, so our system is working entirely hard, so let's add the correct thing, which is the admin. Let's see. You see, password hint validation accepted. Now you know your password and your password, so you can now go to here, admin, check your password to see if it is working. It's quite working. Login successful. Then you now have your system. All right. This has been the school management software production, and I know that you are really enjoying this lesson. My name still remains Soft Original, and we will end here. On our next lesson, we're going to see how we can create a database, and then we can create a database, and then we see how we can manage to add up some create the database system, and then we add up some details to all these guys, and then we see the way forward. Then we do the teacher one, then we do the settings, then on our next lesson we work on the report. Then everything is going to be awesome. So until we meet again on our next lesson, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, do well to go search for Isoft Original and subscribe to my channel for backup systems. Have a nice day, and adios amigos.